Right. So as I was saying, we are going to be working with the last data set, the one that says sales data set with profit. Okay. And that's just to add a bit more.
Sorry to cut you short, Sister Debbie. Please, I don't know if there's a breakout section for BA.
I'm not sure that has been done. I don't think so.
Just carry on then. Sorry.
Okay. No problem at all.
All right, ma.
Problem. Okay, so before now, we had like a 10, 12 row data set that we quickly worked on, and that particular data set was just for us to clean the data and improve the data quality problem that was with that data set. Okay, and then we went on to analyze it a little bit, but we thought let's bring it to a livelier level and have more data to work with. Okay, and so we now have a profit column. Okay, so the last data set, like I said, that's been sent to the platform, that's the one, and it's still the business what's it called now? That's Word document I sent, the business objective, that one. Okay, I may change it up a little because now we have profit as well to work on, and we may just, go with the flow. Okay, but the first step, let me stop share for a second and quickly bring up my slide, the data analytics slide. It's always nice to refer to it, once in a while. Data analytics, course of data. Yeah, it's this one. Yeah, it's always a lovely thing to be able to refer to it and just see where we are at, with the course itself. Okay, and now back to Zoom. Let's share the screen.
Please, ma, can you create a room for us, ma, so that the B and the PM can meet? Thank you, ma.
No problem at all. Do we have co-hosts? There are people with co-hosts, right?
Is a co-host.
Let me make people co-hosts so that they can, they can carry on with doing that, and then the class can continue. So Bukola, I'm making you co-host. So anyone with co-host right can actually
create it.
Yeah, do that. Okay. And Daddy Adeleke as well, if he's available. As many people as possible. Is there someone that can, send the what's it called now? The attendance link to the chat?
I'll send that over, sis.
Thank you very much. Okay. All right. So I was showing this. So I was saying about how we've now got this data set, okay? And we've got the objective. So we've been given the objective that this needs these business objectives, which has been sent as well to the platform. They need to be looked at for the company. So we have the questions that need to be answered. Never mind that I copied a few other things with this business objective. It's all just so we can get better clarification as we look at things, generally. And we have those questions to answer on our dashboard. And we also have the data set itself, which is this one now. We have order ID, we have customer.
Sorry, sis, can I just let them know the room has been created, so you just need to go join yourself, please.
Okay.
Everyone that needs to go there, the BA and the PM room. Thank you.
Thank you very much for doing that. All right, so we have the order ID, customer ID. I believe we can all see my screen. We have the customer name, city where they are buying from, the products they bought, quantity, price, cost, profit made, and the dates, that those orders were made. So we have this one flat table, that our orders are recorded on, that we need to work with. So that has been provided for us, as well as what the stakeholders want to see, okay? First, we are being told that we need to improve the data quality, which means there are some problems with this data set. And when we load it into Power BI, we'll be able to find out that, okay? But at the moment, in our data analytics life cycle, let me expand this. Where is it? I hope I haven't closed it. No, I haven't, okay. Data analytics life cycle. What am I doing? This, okay, there's too many half screens that I can see. And I want this to be full screened. I don't want, so I'm saying, show me the whole screen. Not this, not this, but this, which that should not be a problem. Have I opened that many screens? Okay, fine. We have to work with this then. Okay, so where we have the data analytics life cycle, that is the life cycle of data analysis as you do your work. Let me look for that slide. That particular slide gives us the steps involved in your works or in your work as a data analyst. Okay, data modeling. Yeah, it's this slide. Okay. So we have this data analytics life cycle where we have the objective, and the objective is that beside the objective, we can see what further breakdown, what question are we trying to answer, what business decisions depend on this, what outcomes do we want, same as saying business understanding, okay, problem definition and analytical objective setting, okay? So what problems do we want to solve with this data set? That's the first step. And those are what have been stated out in this Word document, you know, that we have here, this Word document here, okay? The first part says that there are a few problems with the data quality problems that we have with this data set. So some of our tasks within this section is to identify missing values. We need to identify that there are duplicates where there shouldn't be, and any other inconsistencies that are there, okay? We need to measure data quality in terms of completeness or percentage error rates. And we need to clean and standardize the data set, okay? Cleaning it and standardizing it. So all this improvement on data quality in the data analytics life cycle, they fall under, you are understanding your data as well as you are cleaning your data, okay? The objective is all stated out in the Word document. We get the data, we understand it. Getting the data is first you collect it from the source. So we have our data to hand now, okay? Collect it from the source. Sources can be databases, you know, it can be surveys, sensors, CRM systems, that is customer relation management systems, web analytics, external providers, key focus, relevance, completeness, and reliability, okay? Our key focus here is how complete is our data, how reliable is our data, okay? That is part of understanding the data, okay? And we must be able to describe the data sets and identify data quality issues. We must know whether the data can answer the questions that we have been asked to answer. So you want to look through all of these business objectives that you've been given and also compare with the data set you have been given and ensure, that those two actually map well together. So my data set is enough to answer the questions that have been given, and that takes time, okay? First, you want to sit with the business objective, read through it and understand, okay, they want me to work on the data quality and remove and bring it up to par, basically. Clean and standardize the data set. That's one of the tasks that I need to do, to perform. And in cleaning and standardizing the data set, I need to identify that there are values that are missing, there are duplicates that shouldn't be there, and the other inconsistencies that I need to walk through. So this is where your qualities as a data analyst, which is one of the qualities you have as a data analyst, is being very attentive, to details. You have to pay a lot of attention, to every little details that you have there, okay? Looking for that slide where we have qualities of a data analyst. Yes, qualities of a data analyst, attention to details, okay? In being attentive to details, that's when you would capture the slightest of, data quality issues that could easily escape anyone, So this is where, that video that was circulating around at some point where the boy was saying, "Mommy, calm down." This is where you want to really calm down, and look through and be the data detective that captures every little data quality problem that this data set could have. Not until then can the results that you give to your stakeholders be reliable. So the reliability of this data to actually make business decisions with it depends hugely on how attentive you are, to details, okay? So the first bit is we want to identify, understand what this data set. In understand the data set, okay, you want to look through each of the columns. We have order ID. This part is going to have to be interactive. So be ready to unmute and tell me what you think this data set is about, okay? We have order ID, we have customer ID, we have customer name. So we know orders are being generated by customers. We have city, we have products being bought, we have quantity, we have price, we have the costs of those products, and we have profit, okay, and we have order date, okay? So I'll give you a minute or so to think through. What do you think this data set is telling us? What is it about? In a sentence or two, however you can, tell us. What is your understanding of this type of data set? If you've got the answer, just unmute and talk, please. Yes, so
Sorry to disturb your class, ma. Some of us are struggling to get to the other room that was created. Majority of us are still on this class, ma. Sorry to disturb you. If
No.
we can be moved one by one, we would really appreciate it.
You're supposed to just click join. The sign
It's not bringing out the room. I can't even see that the room has been created. And majority of us are still here.
It's already written here. It's about the seal of an organization where they have probably they could order, customers could order from the organization. So that's why there's an order ID column, the customer name and the likes.
Thank
so
you.
It's just basically showing the seal.
Yes, absolutely. We can see that orders are being placed by customers. We see the customer details. We see the cities they are ordering from, and we can see the products that they bought, how much they bought, the prices at which they bought it, the cost of that to the company, the profit the company made, and other details, other dates rather. So we know the what. The what is products that have been bought. That's the what. Products that have been bought, And then we have the who, the customers that bought those products. Okay, when, the other dates, when was the product or where the products bought. Okay, so we have the who, the what, the when, I think that, and the where, the cities where those products are being ordered from. Okay, so basically in one sentence, I believe we can say that this is a data set, you know, for a company that sell IT products. Okay, because if we look through, sorry, I didn't really scroll down much for us, you know, because I want to close this and then load it into Power BI very quickly, and then we would have been able to see things better there. Okay, but we can see keyboard, mouse, tablet, monitor, you know, we can see they sell IT products. Okay, so this is an order table, you know, for orders generated by a company that sells IT products. Okay, we can see that they bought IT products from different cities of the UK, you know, and we see when the dates, you know, when those products were bought. Okay, so we are going to be using Power BI to load this. Okay, and then we can understand this data set further. We will look at the problem that are there with the data set, the data quality issues, how we get to fix those before we then move on to answer these business questions. Okay, data quality being the core objective is we want to correct or standardize this data set to the point where it can be analyzed and we can rely easily on the answers that it generates for us, basically. Okay, all right, I'm going to close that data set, open my Power BI, you know, and sort this and load this. The name of it is sales data set with, so at least we know it starts with sales data set. So I need to close it before I can, you know, load it into Power BI. Okay, that's all right. I'll put don't save because it's on my download anyway, so I know to get it from download. And if you are watching my cursor, I'm going to go into my Power BI and open a new report, a blank report, basically. So because this is a new work now, the one we have here now is the work we've done up to yesterday night. But we are starting afresh with a new one because now we have the problems that need to be solved and we can use that. Okay, so I have my brand new Power BI desktop that has been opened, okay? And by now we are a little bit familiar, you know, with the Power BI desktop interface, okay? We can see like any Microsoft product, we can see the file, okay? And you know, everything that comes with any Microsoft file button or function, we see the home. Under home is where you have all these different functions, okay? Insert data, modeling, view, optimize, you know, and all of that, okay? But, you know, when you open your Power BI afresh, you want to get data into it, okay? And there are different sources that you can get data from, okay? You go into the get data function, they drop down and you see so many data sources. The common ones are the ones listed here. You could be getting from Excel workbook, Power BI semantic models, data flow, data vars, you know, and so on, or even the web, you know, and so on and so forth. And if there is more, if whatever you need is not listed in that list, you can click on more and there's a whole lot more different data sources. It depends on what your office, where your data source is. I hope we can still hear me. It's saying my internet connection is unstable. Okay, I'm going to cancel that. Okay, and if I'm okay, thank you. If I'm right, I'm hoping that was an Excel workbook. If not, it would be a text CSV. and I'm going into my downloads. Okay, so it's a CSV that I need. So let's cancel that because that's not showing. So get data text CSV, comma separated file. In my download, yes, in my download, this is what I need. Sales data set with profit. That's the one I need. Okay, it's also important that you know where your data set is stored, the data source that you are getting it from. Okay, so it's a text CSV. If it was an Excel, it's the same thing. Click on Excel. If it's web, click on web and get the web URL and put it, you know, in there. At the moment, we are getting this from a text CSV, which is in my folder within my own laptop environment, okay? And I've chosen the exact one that I need. And it's giving us a preview, you know, that based on the first 200 rows, this is what it looks like, okay? It's a comma separated file or text, a text file, which looks like Excel if you are just looking at face value, okay? But very importantly, while we are here, if you look at these three options here, it says, do you want to load the data or you want to transform the data or cancel the data? Now let's explain what these three mean. Load data is that your file is in top form. There's no data quality issue. You just want to load and start analyzing. Okay, you don't need to do any extra work or further work on this data set. Then you will click on load and you won't go through Power Query. It will just take you straight into Power BI desktop and you just, you know, start working straight on. Okay, so that's the first option. The second one, it says transform data. This takes you through Power Query where you can edit your table and do all form of transformation on it. That's why it says transform the data. Okay, so if you are not too confident that your data set is in top form and it would require further cleaning, further extension, you know, or enhancement, then you would need to transform the data, not load it straight on, okay? And if at this point you decide you don't want to proceed with this work any further, you just cancel and it just cancels the work for you. In our own case, we know there's a lot of data quality issues with this data set. So we're not going to load it directly. We are going to click on transform data, you know, and immediately you click on transform data, your Power Query editor opens up, okay? And what does that mean? You see, Power Query editor is a second page within your data, your Power BI desktop, okay? If you watch my cursor and I bring it onto that yellow Power BI icon, you see, ignore this one, okay? Let me actually close it. Yeah, okay, this is our current work. So watch, we started with just the Power BI desktop, but now because I've clicked on transform query, it's opened up like another extension of Power BI, which is called Power Query. It is also found in Excel, okay? So the Power Query is a powerful tool for cleaning and enhancing your data, okay? It works in such a way that whatever changes you make to your data set at this point, they become automated, okay? So anytime new data, fresh data set is added to the source, you don't need to, you know, start all over again, cleaning and doing all those works that you had done before. You just need to click on refresh and all the changes you did in the first place will just be applied to your new data set. Okay, so it's a powerful cleaning tool that makes Power BI and Excel very unique, you know, to use. Okay, so, and like, again, like any Microsoft product, the Power Query also has its own interface, just like the Power BI, just like the Microsoft Word or Excel, okay? So you have the file, which looks like what you will get from, you know, the file, close, apply save as, and all of that. I don't normally use that within Power Query. Then you have the home. Under home, you have all these many functions which enable you to really perform miracles, so to say, on your data set. Okay. You see, if you need to add a new source, maybe you need to go into another source and create and bring another data set in. You click on that, and all those common ones are listed again, like you saw within Power BI. Okay. If I was gonna bring another file into this report from maybe Excel workbook, all I need to do is click on that. If it was from SQL Server, I will click on there, and so on and so forth. Okay. And if you're gonna bring data set from a recent source, okay, can you see my most recent one being the sales data that we just brought in? And that's what it's listing there. If you want to, enter data manually, sometimes you don't have to bring your data from another source. Sometimes you may want to create it manually. That is applicable sometimes. So you just need to click and type, manually and create a new table like this within here. Okay, so many, are you sure you want to exit? Yes. So many explorations. What have I done? Okay, so many explorations that you can do. Like I said, it's always a good thing to go into Power BI yourself, Power BI Desktop and Power Query, and just play around with the different functions. You'll be amazed at what you would find out on your own. Okay. But one thing I want us to learn to leverage on very well within Power Query is this, what we call under home, is this advanced editor. Okay. The Power Query is in different segments. If you watch closely, the first part is this segment where it says close. This is where you close the Power Query. The next segment says new query, where you can bring in data sets either from a new source, a recent source, or you manually input yourself. And the next one's talking about data source settings, where you can, maybe change your data source if you need to change it, or point your source to a right one if editing has changed, manage parameters if you have created parameters. Okay. And that is under parameters. Output data. You may not really need all of these. It depends on what you are required to achieve at work. Okay. And then we have output data segment. Then we have a refresh query. For your queries, the things of the functions you can perform on the current queries, you can refresh it, okay, to get in new data from the source. You can check the properties, that's the name. You can give a description to it if you want. Okay, you can disable and enable loading of it, in this here. Okay, but under query, you have what you call advanced editor. If you click on the advanced editor, you see a few codes that have been written there. Okay, now this is where every step you add on, you take, in your Power Query is recorded. Okay, you don't necessarily need to know how to like write it yourself, because the tool will write it anyway. But it's good for you to know that you can always come in here and copy and paste according to what you want to achieve. As we work on, you understand what I mean by that. It's a powerful tool or function to leverage on, with time. Under manage columns, sometimes you have so many columns to work on, and you don't want to keep scrolling, and just dragging this bottom scroller up and down. You can just easily choose column that you want to go to, choose column, and it lists all the columns for you, and you can decide what you want to do there. Or within the choose column field, you can decide to go to you know, a certain column in case you have like 100 columns to get to and you don't want to keep dragging. It just, you know, automatically takes you there. Sometimes you may want to remove columns or remove other columns, keep rows, you know, you may want to, you know, keep some rows, remove some rows, you know, keep duplicates. If you want to check if you have duplicates within this data set, I'll just say keep duplicates, and we can see there's quite a lot of, okay, actually, because this column was chosen, so that would not be the best way to check duplicates within this data sets. Okay, split column, maybe you have first name and last name and you want to split the columns, you know, you can use that. You can group by and so on and so forth. Okay, so many functions within just home. Okay, you see why Power Query is such a very powerful instrument to know how to use to actually achieve what needs to be achieved within your data set. There's something I didn't show you when we did we worked on the previous small data set, and I believe it should be under view. Okay, under view, you can easily see the different properties that your columns have. Okay, we have the monospace, you know, and it's just about the spacing. I don't normally touch that. Can you see when I clicked on that, something changed with how your data presents? Okay, like I said, I don't normally touch that. Show white spacing. Okay, I don't normally need that either. But the important ones are the column quality. And you see what it writes there. If I hover on column quality, it says column quality, show column quality details in data preview. So if we click on column quality, it gives you further information about each of the columns. Okay, how many valid values do you have? How much, what percentage rather? What percentage of this column is valid? What percentage is an error? And what percentage is empty? Okay, and if we keep going, you have 100% is valid for each one of them. Let me see how, well, it's telling us that all of them are 100% valid and there are no empties there at all. I'm not sure I believe that. Maybe it's just gone on to approximate. So if the values that are empty are very tiny, you know, maybe it's just gone on to say that the percentage is really very small. But because I'm sure we've got some missing values here. But this is a way for you to have an idea, you know, about what is happening within each column in your data set. That's the column quality. Then you have the column distribution, okay, which gives you further information. For example, order ID is telling us that we have 1,000 distinct and 1,000 unique. And that will lead us to our next assignment. What are distinct values and what are unique values? It's very important for us to know those two terms, distinct values and unique values, okay? I may forget to put it on the data platform, but we are going to need for tomorrow to start with what are distinct values and what are unique values in your data set. This is telling us that 1,000 are distinct and 1,000 are unique. What does that mean? That is our assignment. Okay, for customer ID, we got 427 distinct, 135 are unique. For customer name, we've got 5 distinct and none is unique. Okay, city, they got 5 distinct, none is unique. Okay, so these are ways for you, you know, sometimes to get further information about your column, because you may be working with what, millions of rows, you know, and you don't want to keep scrolling down. Chances are you would miss a lot, but you've got a computing device that gives you, you know, an automated information, you know, about your data. Then we have the column profile. Okay, this is giving us about, so this column profile opens up to give us the count. How many are there? 1,000. Error, there's 0. empty 0. Okay, I want to see which column has been chosen for it to give us that much. Okay, it's analyzing order date for us. Let me pick on another column. Okay, if I click on order ID, okay, and under column profile, is profiling this column for us, order ID. It's saying there is 1,000 counts, and there's more than 1,000, but Power Query originally will show you the first 1,000 rows. Work on the 1,000 rows and, you know, just send the changes to the rest of however many rows that the rest are, whether 10,000, we've got, I believe, 10,000 rows at the moment. So the remaining 9,000 rows would also be communicated to whatever is done to this first 1,000 rows, okay? Then error, there's 0 error, 0 is empty. Distinct and unique is 1,000, 1,000. We can see that from the information here before. Anyway, NaN, I can't remember what that is. 0, there's none that says 0. Minimum value is that, maximum value is that. So you get a look, a peep into what your data is about, okay? For customer ID, we can see that there's 427 distinct, 135 unique, minimum and maximum. Because this is not a number, customer ID, okay, it's actually a number. Maximum is 499, average minimum is 1, okay? I was gonna click on customer name, a different information now. It's counting 1,000 for us because it's showing us the first 1,000 rows, like I said before. There are no errors, 5 distinct, minimum David something, maximum 0. I don't know how it computed that minimum and maximum, you know, but that's what it's telling us, okay? So under view, you can look through the skeleton of what your data set actually presents, okay? We have column quality, we have column distribution and column profile, and they all show you sometimes similar information in a few degree, they are similar, but most of the time they are not necessarily similar, okay? I thought to show us that because we missed out on that the last time, okay? Some people tend to, let me remove column profile. I don't need that to be displayed. Some people just carry on working, showing all these, but I don't really necessarily like to leave these on, as long as I already have information about what is within my data set, what is happening, you know, I just click them off, okay? But the choice is yours to leave them on or not to leave them on, okay? Now, then after looking through, then you get to see, okay? Look through each one. Already when this was brought in, I didn't mention very quickly, applied step is an important part of Power Query. Okay, this is where every function or every step you take is recorded. And it is what is recorded here that then gets coded into your advanced editor. Okay, look at that. Let's place them side by side. Okay, it says in the advanced editor, it says let source equals the source of our data is a CSV file. This is the file part of it. It's comma separated. Okay, remember we said it's a text file, not an Excel. If it was an Excel, we'll put the Excel workbook, something. Okay. And the next step here was that when this was brought in, the headers were promoted. And you can see the next step here, promoted header, okay, and all of that, okay? And the next step says change type, and all the different columns had a change type. Maybe for example, order ID became integer, okay? Customer ID also became an integer. Customer name became type text data type. City became text. Product became text. Quantity became integer as well. Price was changed to integer 2. Cost became number. Profit was put as number. Order dates put as date. In is always just the last step that is repeated here, which is the change type. Okay, that's all what that is. So what's happening here is just being computed by the machine, you know, here as well. Okay, what that tells me is that if I've got another report and I finish all the work on this particular one, and I've got another report where I'm using exactly this particular data set, and I want to achieve exactly the same thing in another report, instead of me doing all that work all from the beginning, I'm just gonna come here, copy, as long as they are the same source. If they are not, I will just change the data source. Copy all of what is here and paste in that new report. Within a second, all the work that I might have done on here is done for me. Okay, that is one way that I use the advanced editor. Okay, so tonight we've succeeded in understanding the type of data set that we've been given. We haven't necessarily looked into exactly what all of the objectives are, but we know that there are some data quality issues for first step that we need to look into. We have then gone on to load our data into Power Query, okay? And so far, we've looked into some of the buttons or functions under Home, you know, that we have in Power Query. We've also checked out a few of, you know, the ways that you can bring data into Power BI. Those are the achievements, in quotes, that we have gone on to have for tonight's lesson. Okay, for tomorrow, I did say about an assignment. What was the assignment I said we got? Said something about us finding out, yes, the difference between distinct values and unique values, you know, because we came across that under view. Okay, and view is where you have functions that give you further information about each of the columns within your data set. We haven't necessarily gone into the actual data quality issues that we have in this data set just yet. Okay, but I believe then after, you know, concerning ourselves with what unique values and distinct values are, difference and similarities between them, we can proceed with that, you know, tomorrow. And then we can work our way through, you know, each of the different student tasks that we have within our business objective. I'm hoping that with these few points of mine, I've not confused you, you know, which the work tonight. I've got a few charts. Are they okay? Right, we do have the attendance sheet. You will do well to please sign in that you were in class tonight. Do we have any questions in the 2 minutes that we got currently for the remaining part of the class? Any questions that you want me to address?